Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Well, I'm not happy to see this.
Oh, boy.
I've been putting this off for far too long.
We're back on the PSP, folks.
Well, I did kind of miss Rogue.
Ah, Gringo. You did good. Saved me a fair bit of trouble. I guess you can see who do now.
Ah, yes, I miss this guy with the lowest quality poncho in the West.
Adios, amigo.
That is a burlap onesie.
Yeah, so he eventually just disappears once you've completed all those side missions, and then you get to talk to Rudaba and complete the story as if as if nothing had ever happened.
Rudaba, or a cardboard cutout of Rudaba, we're not sure.
Check out
And so I forgot to mention something. Rogue is magic.
Call Harry Potter, we found his horse.
I also realized that there was something else regarding Rogue's pathfinding that I didn't, I forgot to include here, but I'll include it in the extras video. Also, in this version of the mission, there were no NPCs for before. Also, I was complaining before about the Web and Rudaba fight. Remember, this is on easy, and it's incredibly difficult. Also, this is what the death screen looks like on the PSP version. Also, did you notice that Cole's character model actually started to fade away there at the end?
The game is self-cleaning.
Although I do like the actual little bit of detail that the console version doesn't have, which is that Cole's weapon actually pops out of his hands when he dies, which I don't think the console version has. I'll have to look back at some of my deaths, because I have way too much footage. I have 100 gigabytes of footage of the console version to look over, including many, many deaths.
Oh boy.
So, also to clarify something earlier, I have erroneously stated that you are unable to mount horses. In the other horses other than Rogue in the PSP version, you can, but it's kind of limited. I won't be doing it here, but you'll see later on. Well, after this, I'm going to be jumping forward a little bit to the prison breakout, and you'll see they actually do manage to replicate having to steal the 3 horses and put them under the bridge, but it's really awkward.
So there is a possibility of horse jacking here.
Kind of, but it's really limited, and it's only limited to stealing enemy horses. And there's something of a timer to it. It's almost treated like a power-up in a way, because the enemy horses, they're like triggered to run away after a certain time, and when they run away, they buck you off.
Huh.
Also, I thought I'd show this off here. They got rid of the stretchy Cole glitch on PSP. However, they put a new glitch in its place. When you try to mine gold. I was trying to see if I could replicate it. Didn't work. However, you could play the animation twice. Sadly, it does not count as double the money.
Aww.
That was taken from the NES port, that little bit of dialogue there.
Yeah, he sounds like he was recorded in a public bathroom.
I heard you was a little sneak that done cracked that safe in Monte Verde.
So here's a little change as well. They took out that extra thing about serving chicken for your last meal, and instead they just jump ahead to that extra bit of dialogue, which is the bit of foreshadowing I missed before. The only bit of foreshadowing that actually alludes to Sophie being a safecracker. Not Sophie. That's something else. That's a little bit of cut content. So this is me trying to sneak. There's no way in hell you'll be able to sneak through this on PSP. Don't even bother. Also, because if you try to shoot the horses in this, it's a game over on the console version. However, on PSP, I guess they couldn't render the horses, so they just made them invincible. What? You could shoot them as many times as you want, and they'll just never die. I've tried that on console. That the horses will die, and it's a game over if they die. But
I hear that horse has a cameo in Resident Evil 2.
That's one. We still need 2 more.
Also, look at that amazing HUD. That's going to be like 4 or 5 objectives stacked on top of each other.
The developers managed to fill the screen. Good for the developers.
Also, it's even worse when you remember that the PSP screen is only 272 pixels high. So
yeah, it does have a weird resolution, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's like it's not even just keeping it in that context. It's even worse. Also, this is one other area where you can steal a horse, which I didn't show off before in the console version. Also, when you go over to torch the livery, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from just taking a horse there. In the console version, it removes the objective, but on PSP, you could just grab a horse over there. And if you line it up correctly here, you could actually do a stealth kill with your horse. Tactical takedown. Here was a +10. Unfortunately, you can't do the rest of the objective with the horse because you can't pick up any gunpowder barrels with the horse.
Aww.
But I just thought it was funny to show that off. That is possible to do on console, at least. Or no, it's possible to do the stealth takedowns on console. So anyway, we'll free Sophie, as usual. And right after this is probably the single biggest change between PSP and console. Also, you'll notice that one of the horses that we broke free has magically turned into Rogue. This is actually, there's something of a different... Oh, look at the animation change there. There's something of a difference between, like, I don't know if it's regional differences or like content updates, but there's another different version where instead of Rogue, it's just labeled horse. So here's the big change. Sophie is actually going to follow us to the hideout. He's not going to leave us, at least not yet.
Okay, so he's just along for the ride.
Yeah. Now, the reason for this is actually really stupid. Actually, it's well-intentioned, but it's really dumb.
I mean, it can't be as dumb as the rest of what this game is throwing at us, right?
It's pretty close. So here's the next set of GTA 3 style missions.
Looking for Clay? He's out of town. Call me Barton. I'm in charge of the camp till he gets back, but I got an urgent mission for you, partner. I just had word that Hoodoo's planning to burn down the ranch as retribution for selling horses to us. We can't let anything happen to the rancher or his family. They ain't done nothing wrong. Get going.
We didn't have the resources or the budget to animate this one character's face.
Well, I mean, it's the PSP. I don't... I now that I think about it, the only PSP game that I've seen actually have any mouth flap at all is Peace Walker.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
I'm sure that someone else will probably point out one other game that's done that. But anyway, so we have to rescue the rancher's family, which just means his 3 daughters. There's no mention of no mention of the rancher having any family at all on the console version, so we're already getting some more backstory onto our favorite rancher.
You think they took this game to the guys that did the PSP version? The PSP version guys just went, you know, we really want to flesh out the rancher.
Yeah, they actually, like, I read some interviews that you know, some of the PR the PR guys at Rebellion were doing to hype up Gun Showdown, and they were like really adamant about all the story that they were going to flesh out with these extra missions. And really, it's I can kind of understand from a gameplay perspective why they would want to introduce certain mechanics early, especially with the with the missions before Rutabaga and Webb. But here, I don't know. This this seems much more like padding. So here's what I was talking about before, with the horses. You can mount horses, enemy horses here. However, they're kind of on a timer. So I'll be able to mount it for a little while, at least, until this one enemy dies. Eventually. After I struggle with the controls for a bit. Come on. There we go. And there. I did not dismount the horse. The horse just bucked me off for no reason. Because when all the enemies are dead, the horses just escape. And you're not allowed to keep the horse. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So all of the daughters, as well as a good number of the female NPCs, they're all voiced by Vanessa Marshall, another Metal Gear voice actress. She has voiced Olga Gerlukovich in MGS2, and she also voiced Strangelove in Peace Walker.
Aha.
So thankfully, this particular escort mission is actually really fast, even if her pathfinding is a little weird. There's only like one major wave of enemies. I was afraid when I was playing this section that this was just going to be a reskin of the Wealthy Citizen, but thankfully it's a lot shorter. And no, before you ask, I am not going to be replaying all of the side missions on PSP just to see what's different.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Take me to my parents. Conflict and victory.
Well, here's the third daughter. She's hiding out in the barn.
I'll kill you, God!
Unfortunately, using the shotgun on horseback is nowhere near as satisfying on PSP. Actually, it
just
is.
Looks cumbersome.
Yeah, it is kind of fun if you do what I did and map the face button camera controls to the right analog stick, so you get like pseudo digital analog control. Also, the daughter was hiding because there were still two enemies out there.
The PSP was not a good console for this. It really wasn't.
Yeah. Also, did you notice that there was no in-between animation between the enemies being on or off their horses?
They just kind of drop off the horse.
Yeah, the same thing goes for most of your NPC allies, too. Also, we rescued the daughters. Now we need to save the entire farmhouse. We do not get a chance to save that axe over there, though. Also, I'm kind of surprised, like, the rifle has a really high chance of dismemberment on PSP, but the shotgun doesn't. It has headshot chances, but there's not really... you don't really get... There's no dismemberment count for that, which is weird. I mean, it doesn't really have any effect at all on the game, because it's not like there's score bonuses or anything. It just seems like it's the kind of odd detail that they increased... It's like they increased the chance of dismemberment for rifles, yet they decreased it to almost nil for shotguns. It's just really strange.
Like, it's funny to me that they did all this retooling, then all of these guys are the same kind of generic guy that all go bah when they're killed.
Actually, that change is probably the one that makes the most sense out of all the crazy changes, because they want to save on resources for the much, for the much smaller in size UMD.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, but it's still like we lost something when we made this tiny.
Get the hell out of here to Dodge.
Okay, so this part of the mission is a reskin of when we had to escort the calves to Dodge. Except now there's no Longhorns,
right.
So we won't be seeing any calves riding off into the Nether, unfortunately. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much entirely a reskin of that, complete with the same rustlers, except now they're just guys. Also, I was really scared of glitching myself out on the train tracks again. Like what happened with that one time at Tiny Tubs.
It's a cowboy game. Ain't got the resources for cows.
Good work, Colton. The rancher and his family are safe for now.
For
I think
now.
it's time to hit Hoodoo where it hurts. His money pouch.
And his
I
testicles.
want you to infiltrate his
Yeah.
opium den and steal anything that's not nailed
Oh,
down.
yes.
When you're done
This mission.
there, meet me out in Devil's Slot Canyon.
This is one of my favorite PSP missions. And I think you're going to love it.
We're gonna find out just how much stuff is nailed down, I guess.
Well, we're going to go over to Empire. And, well, first things first. I was fascinated by this little detail. They added the occasional cactus to the open world. It just seems like such another innocuous detail that just...
10 out of 10.
It's another change that makes little to no sense. I do not remember any cacti at all in the open world in the console version. It's
It's
of
just-
all the
it's
things
just
to
there.
add.
It's there, and it takes bullet damage. It displays hits. Guys, you really nailed it.
You put in more effort than Neversoft at points, which I realize is setting an extremely low bar, but still.
We're baffled. We are absolutely baffled at this point.
Well, there's the opium den. We gotta steal all the money from the opium den, so let's go. Waltz right in there. Well, we gotta park our horse first.
Parallel parking's a bitch even in video games.
Hey, get out of my way.
I'm sorry. The laundry is closed. I'm
Really?
sorry. The laundry is closed.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess we'll come back later during business hours.
Oh, that laundry is really closed.
We have to steal the opium dealer's clothes. The opium dealer is located at Hoodoo's casino, but we have to kill his bodyguards, and it does a really bad job of telling you which one is the opium dealer at a glance. It's the one not dressed like a stereotypical Chinese guy. So I wanted to do this a little stylishly, because when you die and respawn, the two bodyguards are spawned really close together. So I decided to use some dynamite and ambush them. I managed to kill one. Actually, no, yeah, 1 out of 3, at least, with my stylish ambush. So we need this guy alive, because we don't want to get blood on his clothes. Otherwise, that would ruin our impeccable disguise. Oh, there's another bodyguard.
Oh, we are gonna pass for Chinese. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, we're gonna steal his clothes. After all, Cole is practically a chameleon. You know, the master of infiltration.
Speaks Apache, doesn't mean Charlie Chan. I mean...
Oh, check this out. Look at us, we're beautiful.
Oh my god. It's like Lurch from the Addams Family opened a buffet.
You may pass, friend.
You don't recognize the guy who just shot you in the face like 5 minutes ago? Hey, look, they actually fixed that texture. So now
little details.
Oh, you're gonna like it even better before. So I was trying to see if I could sneak in to this opium den. As luck would have it, when I turned around, this enemy was facing the wrong way. But as soon as I crossed a certain aggro line, he immediately turned around and started attacking. So, but I did figure out that some of these enemies, they have an idle animation if you approach from a certain angle. See? Here, have a look. They're meditating. I was just interrupting their prayer session and gunning them down. You know, like any sensitive white man would.
I am gonna have a very hard time telling if this is more or less racist than anything else we've seen in this game.
I also like how in that particular session there, one enemy was meditating and the other was aggroed.
Yin and yang.
This level is this level is basically a retread of like the middle section of the rescue clay mission, just going into the laundry den, going into the opium den, up until the part where you would normally grab the barrel and shoot up the entrance to the torture chamber. Also, look, they fixed the Buddha. They fixed
the neck. He's still a cardboard cutout, but
he's
neck's
also
not severed.
Yeah, he's also a lot less low poly than on GameCube. Oh god, I haven't even noticed the Fu Manchu stashes on these guys. I've become so blind to all of the horrible racism in this game.
This is...
Don't put that open candle right next to your opium. That's a horrible idea.
I still don't understand why we're stealing money and opium.
It's an economic hit, I think, because Hoodoo's like running drugs as well. Yeah, we stole. So yeah, we just took a big cut out of his drug running business, I guess.
It's also the only stuff in the level that's not nailed down.
Yeah. So we're really low in the basement. So at this point, because it's on PSP with lower power, it has to load the open world. It also loads at certain other points, like it's actually split the open world into chunks. So at certain like narrow corridors, it'll load the open world as well. It's actually a pretty smart system, all things considered. Right, they haven't actually changed the geometry of the open world at all. They've just taken what they can and sort of separated the open world into smaller areas.
It's pretty faithful to the GameCube version's map.
So I'm gonna go from praising the game into more craziness right at this cutscene here.
Impressive haul, Colton. Okay, we've got some of Hoodoo's cash. Now we're gonna get some of his hooch. A whiskey wagon will be coming through here any minute, and you and I are gonna give them a little surprise. Tell me, Colton, ever seen a landmine before? Lay some mines down on the path.
Okay, so there is some... There is some precedence for this. Landmines have been around since the 15th century.
Okay.
They were invented by the Chinese. They were introduced in Europe in the early 1500s. And during the American Civil War, soldiers used a French landmine called a fougasse, not to be confused with the bread of the same name. But that type of landmine needed to be planted underground and not placed on top of the ground like a claymore, like what Cole is doing. Basically, this type of landmine has like no precedence in the 1880s. Also, look at this. We placed it exactly where the game wanted us to, and we got a game over because the mines exploded too early. Bravo.
That's it.
So I tried it again.
Stand back.
Maybe it was ineffective because we were actually using fougasse mines, and Cole didn't think that he had to plant them underground.
Invisible to the naked eye.
When you do actually plant them properly, you get a little cutscene there. The only reason why I think they even included the landmines in the first place, I don't want to elaborate actually on it too much, because it has something to do with the final boss. So once we get to that, I'll talk a little more about why I think they included it.
Time to die! Got it!
Gonna be a dry week for Empire.
But they'll be running plenty of blood. Alright, so here's the last big mission.
If you thought our last stump was a big one, you ain't seen nothing yet, partner. Saddle up, Cole. We're gonna rob Empire Bank.
Alright, now I feel like I'm in a Western.
So, this is the only reason why Sophie was brought along with us on this mission. Now, here's the thing. They were really hyping up the fact that Sophie stays with us in the PSP version. However, they weren't able to get Dave Wittenberg back to record any new lines for Sophie. So the usually non-stop chatterbox is completely silent for the entirety of this mission. Wow, you've got some real acceleration on those horses, boys.
Yeah, don't get pulled over before you get to the bank.
Something horsepower joke. Yeah. Anyway, so basically, yeah, they weren't able to. I don't know whether they weren't able to afford Dave Wittenberg again for new lines, or whether they just couldn't get him again. Also, look here. Whoop. Man. So now we're finally gonna get use out of that bank interior from earlier.
The safe is downstairs. Cole, get going. Let go!
Also, one little detail I like is that there's whiskey stashes behind the tellers here.
They're all drunk and counting money.
Yeah, that's like a genuinely cute little detail. Also, my human shield disappeared as soon as I went down the stairs. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, here's the only reason Sophie is here, so that he could crack the safe in the Empire Bank.
Just cut a hole in the cardboard, guys. Come on.
Anyway, unfortunately, this section is pretty tedious, and it's a really long section with lots of repetitive combat. So while this section is playing out, I'm going to be showing off the little mini games. There are small, like, quick play challenges that show up. They get unlocked as you go further along in the story progression. They're all like timed challenges. They all last 5 minutes each. They're decent, I guess. They're like little time wasters that are all based on scenarios from the story. So the first challenge is quail hunt. Basically, you're in that area of the open world, and you kill quail, just like you used to do with your dear old dad. Every little challenge here lasts exactly 5 minutes, and it's a score attack thing.
So quick little time waster sort of things.
Yeah, pretty much, and you get a gold, silver, bronze medal depending on your score. You know, I do pretty poorly at these because they're pretty much all precision aim based.
I gotta knock a few points off because there's no laughing dog when you miss.
That dog would never stop laughing. Alright, so the next challenge is called Hold the Fort. This is based on the cannon sequence when you're in Hollister's forts, and you're in the main game. You were destroying the those like ammo depots and everything else, but here you're just protecting yourself from waves of enemies. And it's a game over condition if the fort doors get destroyed. And of course, because I'm terrible and the game is even worse, the fort doors get destroyed. But there are successive waves as well. Like usually enemies come over from the left, foot soldier enemies come over from the left, and horse enemies come over from the right, that kind of thing. So next challenge is Suppress the Outlaws. This is a game that actually has some kind of strategies for it. You can either kill enemies regularly for 1 point, or you can drag an enemy and bring them over to the little circle from your spawn point to arrest them for 10 points.
Little cops and robbers gameplay.
Yeah, like I said, none of these are particularly deep, but it's a somewhat interesting little time waster. Again,
I can see some of it being good for improving like your aim and your camera control and things like that, but
if there was any actual control to improve, I would agree with you. So this is one instance where I actually do manage to drag over a human shield over to the arrest circle.
Nice of the deputies helping out here.
Wow, this is your hazing. Every deputy has to go through this on his first day of work. So this is Bear Hunt. Sadly, they do not allow us to bring a horse into this mission, otherwise it would be way too easy. You would just be able to kill every bear in one hit.
Kill as many bears as you can.
Yeah. This is this is actually the part of the secret Cabela sponsorship. Oh, they're up to black bears now.
Oh,
and I got killed off screen.
Loose. Come on.
I just got killed off screen by a bear. I couldn't see. By the way, the other mission is still going as we're watching this. Alright, so this one is Hollister's Dynamite Run. This one is based off of that one section at the end of Hollister's boss fight, where he runs at you with all the dynamite in his pocket. This is basically like a zombie mode. He will continuously rush at you, and you have to make sure he doesn't blow up into your face. Because if he does, he'll try to hug you, and then he'll blow you to Kingdom Come.
Oh.
Cole did not like that hug.
And it's just constantly Hollister.
It's only Hollister. Yeah,
it's only Hollister.
Yeah. It's like Call of Duty Zombies, but just Hollister. Then we got Firefight. It's that same courtyard area of Empire City, but we gotta set a light to all the buildings. And set ourselves on fire repeatedly as well. And this one actually gets really annoying. This would probably be more fun if you had probably like an infinite supply of the firebombs, but you don't. And also occasionally enemies will come along just to annoy you.
So these are like killing spree challenges from Grand Theft Auto.
Except with even less reward and somehow both far more thoughtless and way less fun. Also, I was trying to figure out a way to just end the suffering, but it took a long time actually for me to kill myself with whiskey bombs. Anyway, thank God that's over.
Yeah.
All right, so the bank robbery mission is almost done. Let's see what happens at the end here. I hope it's nothing bad.
Well, I mean, we've got booze, money, and opium. We're gonna throw a party.
Yeah, it'll be a nice big party. Absolutely nothing could spoil it at all.
Who invited Mongo?
I don't know, but he's uninvited. And I'm uninviting Hedley Lamar at the same time.
is from Hoodoo, you thieving son of a bitch!
Oh no. That guy.
I'm not gonna make it. Go on without me. Promise me that you'll kill
Oh
that
no.
bastard Hoodoo.
This guy.
Avenge
We
me,
had
Cole.
such fond memories of that guy, whoever you were.
No. I barely knew your name. He just meant so much to me. Barton, that was his name.
Also, that's an animation glitch I wasn't able to show off. And it's consistent. It's consistent. That like chest of gold or whatever was in the safe is never lined up properly.
All they had to do was play test this. It's like they didn't play test this.
All you had to do was play the damn game, QA. So this it's okay. So this is a double update. I know I promised at the end of the last video that we would be finishing the game. That video is coming out tomorrow. So
Yes.
This is a double update. That the video tomorrow will have some PSP footage, mainly of the final boss to go alongside with the other final boss footage. We'll be doing some other PSP footage in the extras video, the first extras video, and yeah, the extras videos are gonna be fun. So anyway, I look forward to finally concluding the main story tomorrow, because oh boy, that's gonna be something else.
We're gonna finally send Gunn to Boot Hill.